Okay, welcome back. Solo role Mangging, Shadowdark, Barrowmaze. This is the 40th solo RPG video that I've made in the last like 3 weeks. So, yeah. Just kind of really been on a kick, I guess. You never know. You never know what you're just gonna dive into and not be able to escape from. But it's helped, like, going from different systems and looking at different systems a lot. Because this and, doing Barrowmaze or Shadowdark is a very different experience than doing a free-form hex crawl with Shadow the Weird Wizard. So we're in Barrowmaze. I can't imagine my old flask there has too much life left in it. So I think we'll just give it one more room, and then we'll ditch it and go to a torch. And, there is an argument to be made for leaving. We have a decent amount of treasure that we've gotten now, and we want to accrue kind of all that XP, tally it all up. Definitely not leveling or anything like that. But we do have, let's see here. Assuming we sell all our treasure at full value, which is usually how it works. That's 408. It's like 491 plus 22. So like 520 gold. 540 gold. 540 gold we'd walk out of here with, which, as far as Shadowdark is concerned, and the shopping parameters of Shadowdark, pretty good. We could outfit, all three of our sort of armored people. Well, actually, hold on. Okay, so he's a warlock. He can only wear up the chainmail. That's a bummer, but that's 60 gold. I imagine Aran can wear, all armor, so that's plate, 130, so that's 190 we'd spend. And then Priest can wear all armor as well, so that's another 130 for 320 gold. To get, like, basically the best armor they can wear. And then beyond that, Shadowdark doesn't have like any rules for getting stuff beyond that, and it has like no rules for purchasing magic items, no rules for like having mastercraft stuff created that costs more money or anything. The basic gear list is incredibly light, so we'd pretty much be looking at other systems to give us more options. We do have the Player's Companion book, which does have more gear. I might have... Let me just black you out for a moment while I look. Okay, Player Companion. Blah, 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 blah. There's also a treasure book, but I don't think... I mean, that's if we wanted to go the route of, like, trying to buy magic items. But let's bring this up here. So this has a lot more weapon options. Like bearded axes and morning stars and pole arms and stuff, but... And it has more armor options, but nothing's going to be better than full plate, so... Although it has plate field at 100, and that's 15. And then plate full for 130, which is 16. The one in the book is 130 and 15. So they made that version cheaper and then bumped up an upgraded version at 130. if you want to follow this sort of stuff. Oh, there is one rule for, like, superior version, and that's mithril, which you can have on chainmail and plate mail. Costs 4 times as much, takes up 1 less gear slot, and doesn't have any of the penalties on stealth and swim. So it doesn't make AC any better, but it does remove, like, disadvantage or unable to swim. But here we have adamantine as an option, which is 8 times the cost, has an extra gear slot, but gives +2 AC. So you could get adamantine full plate mail for 8 times. I mean, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. That's like over 1,000 gold. But, you know, if you've got it, it's not bad. It would be very encumbering. That would be 4 gear slots. 18 AC. There's also bronze, half the cost, -1 AC, but +1 charisma mod. Interestingly enough. Which, I don't know. If there was an actual paladin that used charisma for spellcasting or something, it would be pretty good. Yeah, beyond that, you know, it's like there's not a whole lot of purchasing stuff here, because Shadowdark's kind of meant to be a pretty simple system, and the OSR in general, you're not meant to really purchase magic items. And again, I guess the designer of Shadowdark is very against the idea of magic items being purchased, even healing potions and stuff. So you are breaking away from the design philosophy if you go for stuff like that. I'm not against the idea of being unable to purchase magic items. I still think healing potions should be purchasable. But I also think there should be, like, mastercraft weapons that give, like, +1 to attack and damage. And I'm very surprised that we don't have rules here for that. So, I don't know. I kind of want to look up... Hold on, we're gonna open more documents because I can't help it. I want to go back to Axe, of course, my beloved. I'm gonna close some of these so we can keep it contained. And I want to go to equipment and masterwork equipment. This is an optional rule for Axe, but you can spend an extra 80 gold to provide +1 to hit or +1 to damage, or 650 gold to +1 hit and damage. And then armor is sort of similar. It can weigh 1 less stone while providing normal AC, or +1 AC while weighing the same as normal. If you want to pay 650 gold. So those are flat costs based on any weapon or armor. So obviously we wouldn't be able to have a weapon made that has +1 to attack and damage. But we could pretty easily get one that has +1 to attacks, which is pretty good. So that might be a good use of money. But availability in Axe here, even as an optional rule, is like, yeah, they're pretty rare. It requires a grandmaster in their craft, and it's just based on the DM's discretion. in Module AX3, Masterwork items are only available from specific in-game merchants that characters must befriend. So yeah, it's meant to be pretty unlikely to purchase in that game. But again, I think this is also a game where you're not buying magic items. So, I don't... What's a game where you can buy magic items? Well, Shadow the Weird Wizard, for sure, has a good selection of magic items that are, I think, kind of intended to be purchased. They're all given a monetary value, and they're not really that expensive. Like, there's a decent selection that are 5 gold. Which in that game, I think a longsword is like 1 gold. So, you know, in our game it'd be like 50 gold to buy like a bag of holding or something like that. So, you know, depending on how we want to do that, it's not really necessary, but it does bring up, of course, the age-old question of what the fuck do we spend money on? I think in some old school games, you had to actually spend large amount of money on training in order to level up. That is not in Shadowdark, obviously. So I don't know what you really spend money on here. There's very little things to purchase in the Shadowdark 4 book. There's no info here about buying structures or domains or anything like that. Mostly you're going to spend your money on carousing to get extra XP. But, you know, I would certainly implement the reserve fund rules, so we could just spend money to increase the XP value of a starting character. But that would imply that we're going to kind of like keep going, whereas if I lose a character, it's... I don't know, that might be it. So, but yeah, normally I would, if I was DMing, allow the reserve fund. But things that we could buy, I would say, is obviously, yeah, plate mail, chain mail, proper shield for Yuri, various things from the player's companion, like bandages. I'm sure there's some other adventuring gear that could be useful. But other than that, yeah, not much. So, really, I mostly just want to leave when I kind of have to leave. Alright, let's continue. So, I'm trying to remember where we are. I think we were at 13 or something. Yeah, we had that encounter, another encounter with the mongrel men, expanding on lore. But we're going to move on now, and we're going to go to 19. So, we're going to go listen to the door at 19. Let's get it. This room smells of rot. Oh, jeez. Probably smell it through the door, then. It's foul stench on the other side of this door. PCs must make a constitution check or begin vomiting for 2 to 5 rounds. Make a random monster check. 2 adventurers are impaled on the south wall with spears. Their guts have been ripped open and fed upon. They died of battle wounds possibly 2 to 3 weeks ago. One still carries a backpack with 200 silver and 30 gold. Well, that's pretty good. Alright. Well, we're going to open the door. So we see that grisly sight. But we also see loads of burial alcoves. And that could mean treasure for us, so... we're gonna all get in there and brave the pain. These are constitution checks. We'll set it at normal of DC 12. Brogar succeeds. Iran succeeds. Trepa succeeds. Yuri succeeds. Ho ho, we are stalwart. Nothing can bring us down. Barely bothers us. And now we loot the backpack, of course. 200 silver, 30 gold. You know, the 200 silver really starts weighing you down. 30 gold. Okay. We'll make note of that here. 200 speed, 30 gold piece. Good. And then we are going to loot. Oh, we gotta roll. We gotta roll a d6 for the underclock, which has disappeared. Where the fuck did my underclock go? What? 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 You serious? It's just gone? Is that legal? Oh, at the top of the actor. Yeah, okay. Boom. Alright. D6 is a 3, down to 17. Alright, and then we're gonna search. Now, obviously, I can see there's nothing in here, but there would be no reason to suspect that there's nothing in there, because everyone we've searched has had shit in it, so, we have to just follow through, even though I know there's nothing. Because the DM knows. And it's a big one. 155. That is 4 rounds. So 4 underclocks. 1. Oh, explodes. That's down 8. Down to 9 already. 2. At 8. 3. Ooh, explodes again. Exactly at 0. So it goes to 3. We have 1 left. We could stop. I mean, we could hold and not search the last one because we're unsure. But let's hear our warning first. It's going to be a D12. 9. More sapphire skeletons. Oh, boy. Fuck. So we hear the clickety-clackety of bones in the near distance. Probably just as my light goes out, actually. So I think we're not in a good position. I think Rogar is gonna put away his shield, light a torch. That was a very poor way of doing that, by the way. It's nice that they have the crawling kit as just something you can dump in there, but I wish it just dumped all the items individually. Because, obviously, this is useless, and it needs to be, I mean, I guess you could do it yourself, so... That... Flint steel... Iron spikes... Ration... Grappling hook... Rope... Delete. Okay. So he'll put away his shield for now. He's got the torch equipped. And we need to decide what we're doing. Are we going to try to spike down 3 walls? 3 doors? Now, we, as a DM, know that they can't come from here, right? But they don't... The players don't know that. The characters don't know that. So it's 3 doors we'd spike. And then they could be breaking down 3 different doors, you know, and who knows what. We could try and make a run for it to, like, 14 across the hall. And bunker down in there. But we're not making it much further than that, so I guess that's our plan. We fortunately were given... we weren't utterly surprised here, so we can bum rush over to 14 and spike in the door. So I guess we'll do that. And then we'll roll a d6. Yep, there it goes. So back to 20. We get sapphire skeletons, and we get 1d6 of them. Just 2. Okay. So the bone clacking sound approaches and approaches. Probably was on our heels as we spiked down the door, and then they start bashing through as usual. But it doesn't sound like there's many. So we're going to, yeah, I guess just go to initiative, although it doesn't really matter because we'll just wait 3 rounds, really, for them to... Although they are making a lot of noise. I'm not really counting that, although I probably should. Because this strategy of bashing down doors probably should just... every round you're doing it should just make more underclock checks. Which would be an incentive to not barricade yourself while a foe bashes down the door. Honestly, that's probably true. So, yeah, let's implement that. That's a good counter, I think, to barricading yourself. So, we will unspike the door, and Aran will hold the doorway as usual with his sword and shield. And now we'll roll initiative from there. 19, baby! Oh yeah, we're going first. So, you know, Yuri could turn undead. It's at a -6. And we might need it for some other purpose, so we'll hold off on that. Trepa is going to use Magic Missile, and we know now to target the sapphires, so we will do that. Success for 1d4 damage. Just 1. That's 5 health, 17 defense, if you recall. So Aran will now... he'll now swing at the same sapphire. Crit for 10 damage. Just decimates it. And we get a luck token, which is very good. You know, usually you want to give it to your spellcasters, because losing a spell is more devastating than Aran just missing with his sword. So we'll give it to Trepa. And then that's it, because Aran's going to stay there. He's got more health, more AC, so he'll stay there. Destroying the sapphire, pretty sure destroys the whole thing, even if it's at full health. It's not like that removes his ability to regenerate, right? Yeah, I mean, it just seems like once you know that you can break them, that's just kind of it. I don't know. I'm just looking online to see if anyone else has mentioned sapphire skeletons. Does not seem like there's much to say about it. I mean, they certainly are much more dangerous if you have to break the sapphire and then kill them. That's possible. Then they would be much more dangerous, but I don't know if that's the intention. I mean, we can read it again, because my interpretation was that they just die if the sapphire is broken. I feel like Sumatra is a little slower to load. then fox it. So I'm trading speed for reliability. Okay, so if a sapphire skeleton is reduced to 0 hit points, it draws itself back together in 2 rounds and restored to full hit points. Only the destruction of the jewel embedded in its forehead will destroy sapphire skeletons. I mean, why are you going to word it like that if that's not how I'm supposed to interpret it? Only the destruction will destroy sapphire skeleton. If you wanted it to be that it prevented them from reanimating, you'd say only the destruction of the jewel embedded in their forehead will prevent their reanimation. Then it's pretty clear. But this says it will destroy sapphire skeleton. So, yeah. I mean, normally they would just be skeletons with like 11 health and a 13 armor class. But by targeting the jewel, you know, it's a 17 armor class and 5 hit points. So it's sort of a reasonable enough trade-off that it's like you're fighting the sapphire that hits for, you know, D6 damage or whatever. And a group of 6 sapphire skeletons, if you didn't have magic missile that you could spam to do automatic damage, and you've got like hirelings that get +0 on their rolls or whatever to attack, I mean, trying to hit a 17 AC? Kind of hard, actually, obviously. 20% chance to hit for your little hirelings, and they get just butchered in 1 hit. Yeah, I mean, that certainly is a formidable foe. So I think that's fairly valid. Anyways, we were in the middle of a combat, but I think it's clear now, and that's how I'm going to run it, and that's how it is. If you didn't want me to run it like that, then you should have been more clear, but I think you were. So, the other skeleton then gets to strike at Iran. D20, miss. New initiative. 8. 13, he gets to strike at Iran again. 8, miss. I'm gonna have Iran swing first. 19, 4 damage. Pretty close. He'll step back and allow Rogar to finish this bastard off. Nope, that is a miss again on the jewel. So Trepa will use magic missile. No! Well, that's what the fucking luck is for, isn't it? There you go. Success. Alright, and it's destroyed because it only needs 1. Alright. And we get another 2 broken sapphires. This is insane money. This is where all the money is coming from. No, not 35. 5. Alright, Yuri is capped out on slots. Two sapphire skeletons. That's 40. And 2 broken sapphires. 200 gold pieces. Yeah, it seems like a lot. But, I mean, I guess it's 50 XP. So that little encounter got us each person 510 XP. Or 60 XP, sorry. Yeah, 60 XP. So, again, we're still a long ways off from leveling. I feel, if I tallied everything up, just based on gold pieces and stuff, you got 530, 550, 650, 670, 750, 762, 760, give or take, divided by 4. You know, that's not even 200 XP just from gold that we've picked up for each person. And then obviously the monsters are very little. 160, 195, 315, 365, 385, 440, 510 from that. So that's another like 125 or something like that. So yeah, we're at like 300 some XP for all our characters out of 2,000. And this is very legit. I mean, we're doing this entirely by the book, as far as I'm aware. Because OSC wouldn't even give you XP for killing stuff. No, I think it does, actually. So I think it's pretty similar, and it's 1 XP per gold. And OSC actually doesn't give any XP for magical treasure. Axe changes that, where you get XP based on if it was non-magical, and then if you sell it without using it at all, then you get XP based on its like magical value, or based on what you sell it for. So that the reason you don't get XP for magical treasure is because you can just use it up or something. Like you can use it for a while and then sell it and get, you know, and then you like double, you know, it's, yeah, obviously, you know, you're gaming the system a little bit. But Axe works its way around that a little bit because it kind of makes sense, and it's a lot cooler to get XP for magical treasure. And then the numbers for XP for monsters are identical to Axe. 2 hit dice monsters are worth 20. So, yeah, these numbers are all very legitimate based on Axe, and or based on old school D&D and stuff. And if we go out, it would divide among 4, and that would be the end of it. So, you know, it takes a while to level up. We really haven't gotten any sort of like big treasure hoard, and I'm sure that it's in here. If we look down the line here, there's probably a fairly big treasure hoard. Room number 15? Did we not get that? No, that's behind the brick wall. So that's 400 gold in there, which is pretty big. There's a lot of, yeah, little treasures. Would we have leveled up in Shadowdark, though? Considering bags of silver don't give any XP, and you strictly go by, like, bags of gold or, you know, some sort of equivalent treasure. If we count the broken sapphires as a package deal worth 1 XP, that would be 1, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'd be at 6 XP, give or take, which is a lot further to level 2 than we actually are. So, in when you have a dungeon that has a lot of kind of small treasure packs like that, yeah, it definitely levels up faster in Shadowdark. I don't see any like, holy shit, 4-digit number. In room 24, you'd have to get special tools and chisels from town, costing 100 gold, to remove silver from alcoves, which take 120 turns. And then that's all worth, if you bring it back to town, 150 gold. No, 1,500 gold, which is quite a bit. Sure, that's certainly quite a bit. That's like 375 XP for each character. It's a pretty good amount. But then, like this alcove, 550 gold pretty easily. I don't know. I'm still looking to see just like... There's got to be some big treasure hoard. I guess it just takes a long time. This is a very long and slow dungeon. They're really pacing out the levels. So yeah, I don't see anything outrageous 4-digit sort of stuff. I do see a handful of magical items that we're just going to start looking at, though, which is kind of cool. I mean, it's possible my eyes are glazing over something. There's a ruby there for 800, which is pretty big. Ah, there you go. Small platinum funerary figure and a longbow +2. 2,200 gold pieces. That's pretty juicy. That's 550 XP for each of us. If that doesn't get us a level at that point, then it's gonna be rough. But it's still, I mean, this is like that idol is like halfway through area 1 of this dungeon. So this is massive. I mean, we could really be here forever. Also here, 150 platinum, that's 1,500 gold. And a gold pendant with a large pearl, 950 gold. So we're going to start getting some bigger stuff. I imagine this is all incredibly dangerous areas. All right, we're wasting a lot of time. I don't know why I'm stalling here. We should just keep moving. All right, so anyways, we took care of the random encounter. We're good to go, and we need to finish up our last search in this room. Really, I probably have to remake the constitution check every time I go in there. Which is really obnoxious. I don't think you can, olfactory fatigue probably wore off. But I guess it was fairly quick. I mean, maybe. It's kind of annoying. But if... Let's see, we did 120 searches now out of 155. And again, this is for nothing, which is really the annoying part. So there's 35 left. So if even one of us fails the con check coming back in here, we're going to have to spend 2 turns searching. And Torchlight keeps going. You know, I should be keeping track of that. Damn. All right. Yeah, I will just make con checks. I mean, it's fair. It's fair. It makes the most sense. So DC 12. Rogar succeeds. Aran crits. Well, back to Trepa then. Trepa critical fails. Oh, she's out for a while then. She's going to be choking for a while on rot stink. So I guess we'll maximize it at 5 rounds that she's just vomiting, and like she was fine the first time, but this second attempt just is too much for her. And Yuri also fails, so we'll just do D4. He's also vomiting for 2 rounds, so it's up to Rogar and Aran to search twice themselves. So D6 of 5 and a D6 of 4. It's down to 11 again already. All right. And we get nothing. Haha, nothing. Huzzah. All right, so then there is this section right here, which I guess we could do, since the door to that crypt is broken. And the small crypt beyond the archway was plundered long ago. Bones and debris rest on the floor near the walls. If PCs actively search this area, they'll notice passage marks on the floor, but cannot ascertain by whom or what. Tracks vary considerably. Hmm. Well, would I search this area? Because there's like... I mean, it's like... Okay, well, how would I describe this? Okay, so the door is broken. You know, it's like off its hinges and kind of like busted in half and stuff. And there's an archway. So that's the archway there. And then there's a small little crypt, which has been thoroughly plundered. You know, it looks like it's been ransacked. And bones and debris are resting on the floor near the walls. Would we search it then? I don't know. I'm not inclined to think so. And there are other ways to get back in there, so, you know, maybe we'll search one of these other rooms. But, yeah, okay. So, we'll then move back to 19 and back to 20, and then go through this door, which is at like a weird angle, and there's just like this bizarre intersection, and there's an X here, and I don't know what to think. And I can't even get into room 21 because of this, but we can get in here, I guess. Is this all meant to be 28? No, it's definitely not. So, how am I supposed to interpret what this B is? What is the B? What is this? This map is kind of weird and janky. I mean, there's not many sets of A, B, C, D, but there is a handful of sets of A, B, C, D. Should I interpret this as... No, it's definitely not 19, because that's A, B, C, D. So it's going to be whatever the next set is, which is 23. A, B, C, D. Okay. So I think we got to roll another underclock at that point, too. We've spent quite a few rounds now with the torch out. That was like right when we went into 19, I think. Yeah, right when we went into 19. We went into 14. No, we went to 19. We searched 3 times, so that's 3. Then 14, that was 4. And then twice more at 19, so that's 6. And then probably should have rolled for this one, but I didn't. And then we just rolled now, so that's 7. So it's got like 3 rounds left. And alright, so we're going to go into this door. We're going to listen at this door, B. There's a group of mongrel men in this room. The mongrel men of Barrowmaze are adept at listening, mimicry, and camouflage. There's only a 1 on D6 chance that this group will be surprised unless the PCs are extremely disciplined with their noise and light. Okay. So they're very so they're not going to get caught aware because we're definitely not extremely disciplined with our noise and light. If they're caught aware, they'll camouflage themselves as rubble piles and attack. I mean, that's just such an insane sentence. I don't even know how to parse it. That's what they do if they're caught unaware? They just suddenly camouflage themselves as rubble piles? If possible, or if they flee combat, they will exit the door to the northeast. So I think that's implying that if they know we're coming, they're going to go out to the northeast. So I think if we listen at the door, we'd probably hear, like, some shuffling inside. Like, pretty light shuffling. I think they're kind of quiet. I think we'd just wait. I don't think we'd, like, burst in or anything. I think we would just wait and keep listening and see if they're, like, about to bum rush our door or something. But then the shuffling sounds fade away and die off. And then there's just silence. So I guess that's when we would very carefully open the door to an empty room. I don't know what they were doing in there. I don't know if they were just banging or something. I don't know. I have no idea. Because there's nothing else of note in the room. So, I guess we would see some signs of, like, footprints in the dust or something like that. But I don't think we'd really be able to make much of it. And we gotta roll again on the D6. Another 3. We're down to 6. It's getting pretty tight. Questionable to keep soldiering on. I guess if we really looked at the footprints, we'd probably see that they go out that northeast door. And then if we open that door carefully, we'd see that it ends at, like, a dead end. And I don't think it takes, like, 10 minutes. I don't feel like it would take a turn to figure out that there's a secret door there or anything and how to open it. That seems a little extreme. So I think I'd probably just allow that. And you start to kind of stretch the limit of what you can do in a round here, but I would say that they can scope that out, and they see a dead end to the south and a door to the north. So I guess they're gonna go listen at the door to the north. Okay. And we don't hear anything, so we'll go in. And we see a dead end with a rubble pile in the southeastern corner of the room. So this is a room that, as far as the module is telling me, is entirely empty at first glance. There's a rubble pile and nothing else at all. I do have to roll the D6. 6. Down to 0, but it does explode, so encounter as we go into this room. This could be bad. We're pretty cramped in here. We gotta roll a D12. 3. Oh boy, oh boy. The Tomb Robbers. Okay, the Tomb Robbers come back. Now, I don't have to do a reaction roll, mind you. I don't have to ever allow a reaction roll. I'm the DM. I can just declare that they have intentions and blah, blah, blah. So if I wanted to, I could say the Tomb Robbers have murderous intent, and they've been following us for a little bit at a great distance. Like, they have a scout that's been following us in the shadows. Very sneaky. And he watched us kind of go into this sort of cramped dead end. And now the Tomb Robbers are approaching in force. the funny thing is that it sort of hurts their numbers to actually fight in here. Another thing to keep in mind is that you don't have to have the random encounter occur when you roll that, you know. It's a little rougher with the underclock because the players know when it's going to occur as far as when you're rolling it and everything, compared to just the random D6. They never know when it actually succeeds, and so you can kind of just say, okay, a random encounter is going to occur, let me just put it in the right spot, you know, and they don't know anything about that. Here, they know it goes into the negative, but you'd have to sit there and say, okay, you don't hear anything. And they're going to be very, very wary, but they can't just sit there. Because if they just keep sitting there, I'll fucking keep rolling more underclock. You know, don't tempt me. So in this case, I think, yeah, the Tomb Robbers, let's just go with the hoped that we died, but the scout, had been watching and he knows that we are continuing, or we're kind of doing well, and it doesn't look like we're going to die, but we're picking up a lot of treasure. So they're deciding to ambush us. And so, I guess they could wait for us to just leave. I kind of wouldn't. I mean, I could re-roll to something other than Tomb Robbers, because we could just do that as a forced encounter when we leave. Because it just makes more sense. I kind of have to twist a lot of things here to otherwise make it work. Could be a different group of Tomb Robbers, but then you're really starting to get ridiculous, aren't you? So, I guess let's just re-roll for now. It'll be simpler that way. 2 is zombies. 1d6 zombies. 5 of them. So we had left some doors open as we pursued this kind of path. And zombies had kind of come up from here and had followed us. And were shockingly stealthy. Until now, though. So now we're in here and we're kind of looking around this room real quick. And we hear moans and shuffles coming from back where the direction we came. As usual, I mean, we're going to employ the same damn fucking strategy we always do. And Aran's going to hold the line in the doorway. Always leaving Hrogar to be a little impotent here. But that's just kind of the nature of a really cramped, tight dungeon like this. Just doorway strats are always the correct option. There's rarely like a big room where we can maneuver around and stuff. Yeah, these are 10-foot squares, which does throw me off a little bit. So if you divided this into 2 squares, 2 squares, 2 squares, 2 squares, that's still pretty tight, though. It's still pretty cramped. That's shoulder to shoulder walking, so it's not really much room to maneuver. We could back up so that they're the 2 casters in the back, and then Hrogar and Aran are shoulder to shoulder. But then again, that does allow 2 of them to come in and attack both of us simultaneously, compared to just 1 on Aran. So it's just the best strat. All right. So we're gonna. Yeah, sit here. Maybe Aran will clang his sword on his shield a little bit, because the fight's gonna happen, so let it happen. And the 5 zombies lurch into view, and we will roll initiatives. 12. Success, alright. So, we go first. Aran will, ready in action to attack the first zombie that comes into range. Trepa is going to use magic missile on one of them. Success for D4 damage. 4 damage. Are we using zombies? Are we using stats from Shadowdark, or are we using stats from Axe? What did I do before? Or not Axe, Barrowmaze. I'm pretty sure we use stats from Barrowmaze. Yeah, because the zombies here get the con save to go back to 1 health, although it's relatively unlikely. Alright, this time let's just use the Shadowdark stats. So we did 4 damage to 1. It's at 7 health. And then Yuri, I suppose, could use Turn Undead here. It's not really an oh shit kind of moment. And it's unlikely to succeed anyways. Yeah, I guess. You never know. We might roll really high. So this now needs to be a -2. Instead of a +4, it's a -2, because we're at -6. So I think that's it. Wow, we rolled a fucking 18. Alright. Well, that's 5 D20, and they get -3 because they're zombies. They're very easy to turn. Oh, yeah, I mean that can happen. So they need to roll a 20 basically in order to not be turned. 5d20. They definitely did not roll a 20. One of them rolled a 19 though, very close. But yes, they are going to flee for 5 rounds, and they're pretty slow. I mean, there's actually nothing in the stats here that indicates they're any slower than any other creature. But they're fleeing, so we're going to pursue. We want to put them to the sword. We don't like undead, and we want to cleanse this place. So we're going to keep smacking them with swords and magic missiles and stuff. And we will kill them all. Yeah, we'll kill them all. It is possible that we wouldn't actually kill them all over the course of 5 rounds. Sort of depends on exactly what fleeing does for you, if it makes you like helpless or anything like that. But they're also spending both their actions, their move and their action to move. So I guess we wouldn't necessarily catch up to them, would we? We'd really have to chase them down, and then it'll fade, and they'll stop fleeing, and then we're in like an unknown territory with 5 zombies on us. So I guess maybe it's best to just let them flee. Yeah, unfortunately, they're level 2, and I'm actually not sure what undead in this book are level 1. Because skeletons are 2, zombies are 2, whites are 3. You know, there might not be a level 1 undead. The bestiary is pretty big. I mean, there's basically everything that you'd kind of want in a D&D kind of game. It's just like old school games. They're not super detailed or anything. There isn't much to differentiate a lot of these creatures. And skeletons are 2, and shadows are not undead, so blah blah blah. Well, I could sit here and look through the whole bestiary. Try and find an undead. Level 1. But what's the point? Why am I doing this? Why am I wasting time again? I don't know, just like really curious. I mean, I suppose it's fair that there's not anything at level 1 that a priest can just destroy outright. Because I'm pretty sure in old school D&D there wasn't anything you could destroy outright. Or first edition AD&D or anything. So maybe that's in line, and it's just, that's how it's supposed to work. sort of interesting that they ended up with that lining up like that. But yes, I do not see any level 1 undead. If you were really curious. Obviously, you could just make a level 1 undead if that's something you really wanted. Wanted an easy target for the priest. Just blast. But there is none. Okay, anyways. So we win the encounter. Right? That happens again. So that's now 5 zombies. 100 XP. And another random encounter bested quite easily thanks to magic. That's usually the answer here. Either prismatic armor or turn undead are just like random encounter solvers in the early stages of Barrowmaze. But we also got very lucky with turn undead. We rolled exceedingly well, and most of them rolled like shit. So, yeah. Next time it'll be with a -8. So we'll just have... Yeah, I mean, it'll be... technically a -3 on a dice. So still relatively decent odds to succeed, but even if we do succeed, it's not going to be stellar. All right. Anyways, I think we're going to search this room because the fact that it's just a complete and utter dead end is very unusual, I think. So we're gonna cram in here a little bit and search. So it's gonna be another D6 explodes. We're already at 10 again on the underclock. It's getting brutal. But we do find some goodies because of that search. For one, we find 2 secret doors on either side here, which is pretty big. And we discover that the rubble pile is actually a camouflage tarp thrown over an old equipment and weapons cache. Cache includes sledgehammer, 10 iron spikes, 4 flasks of oil, a bundle of 5 torches, 20 arrows, 10 crossbow bolts, and a potion of healing. Ooh. All right. Well, that is quite the haul, including a sledgehammer, baby. We can start sledging. So we're going to have to make this as an item because it's a new thing. So basic sledgehammer. Okay, and this is worth 5 gold. Is this going to be 2 slots? Because it's a big two-handed thing. I feel like it's a sledgehammer. Should probably be 2 slots, I would imagine. So weapons, the Bastard Sword, Great Axe, and Great Sword are all 2 slots. So I think the intent is that two-handed weapons are taking up 2 slots. So we're going to say, yes, the Sledgehammer also 2. And that's all it is. But we need a better image for this. Some sort of, not a container, equipment. And not hand, I guess maybe a tool, perhaps? Tool? Hand tool? This giant mallet. That's perfect. It's a cartoon mallet. Alright, and Rogar will take that to fill out his items. Awesome. We also fill up on our crossbow bolts again. So that can go to 20. And then the potion of healing and 4 flasks of oil. Okay, so Basic gear. Flasks of oil. We'll take 2 again to fill back up. And then potion of healing. That's not going to be anywhere here. This might be under magic items, though. Potion of healing, yes. Can Aran hold it? He can, so he'll hold it. That's a 1d6 heal whenever we want to drink. Which isn't even an action, from what I recall, which is kind of wild. Just, you know. Quaffing a potion doesn't typically use an action. So yeah, it's generous, and it's a free 1d6 heal whenever he wants. Kind of nice. It's also really expensive, actually. But good. Alright, I'll be right back. Alright. Where were we? Oh, yeah, right. So we got, finally, a nice little pile of goodies, including a sledgehammer. Very useful for us. And we immediately want to go bash down some walls. But, we also have 2 secret doors here. So, I guess we will, yeah, we'll go into this one on the right, I guess, first. I don't know if we hear anything on the other side of it. It's the number D here. No, we do not hear anything, so we will crack it open. I don't know if a room this small is intended to trigger an underclock roll, if it's literally every new room, even if it's 10 by 10. But I suppose that's probably the case, right? It's dangerous down here. That's the point. But also, if you consider it as like, normally you'd roll 1d6 every 10 minutes. There's no way, right? There's no way. So let's skip it for this little tiny room. That's kind of ridiculous. This plus this other room, sure, I guess. Alright, so in this little cubby, the walls of this crypt are carved with the likenesses of 6 armored knights, 6 feet tall and 6 feet apart. Alright, I feel like that can't all add up. This is a 10-foot by 10-foot room. Unless this map is an abstraction. Is it an abstraction? Is that what you're telling me? Let me try and find it on this other map here. Here. Oh no, this map seems to make a kind of a, you know... Now I have to explain this. This wasn't in the module. This was never mentioned in the module, and there's no rubble pile here. Why would you add this and not put the rubble pile in? The fuck? Anyways, yeah, so 6 feet apart, and there's 6 of them. This seems to break the squares up more as 5 feet. So 5, 10, 15, 20. So this is a 20-foot by 20-foot room, based on this scale. So this whole map is a different scale, which is wild. But I think this is, again, I think that's an improvement for our player map. The whole scale is much bigger and more expansive. Whereas for the DM map, all I really care about is what room they're in. But working off of 2 different maps, different scales, with additions on the player map, not great. So I don't know why there isn't like a DM version of this map. There might be, I'd have to look. But anyways. So 5, 10, 15, 20. Yeah, okay. Then you have like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 on each side. Okay, it makes more sense that way. Alright, anyways. The heads of these knights are recessed into the stone, and a skull sits in each niche. A 3 by 3 foot stone bowl stands atop a pedestal in the center of this room. Beside the pool. I don't think that's the word you want to use. Beside the bowl? is an empty bronze water jug. If it is filled with the equivalent of 10 flasks of water, the bowl will glow with a soft green light and function as a crystal ball with clairaudience for 1 turn. Once the turn is complete, the eyes of the skulls will glow with the same green light and release shadows. It's one of those kind of stupid... let alone the fact that it's actually a trap and just unleashes 6 shadows that only go after the person who used the bowl. I mean, just skipping over that. It's one of those things that you'd have to specifically fill the bowl with 10 flasks of water. Which, who knows exactly how much that is. But needless to say, I think that's quite a bit of water. If I think of what a flask is, I mean, that's more water than most players are going to put into the bowl. Right? So, I would agree that probably plenty of players will put some water into the bowl. Maybe they would even put blood into the bowl. Maybe they would even piss in the bowl. Who knows? But I think a far smaller number are going to put 10 flasks worth of water into the bowl. Where, the DM's like, okay, that's quite a bit of water. It activates. It's like, I just don't see it happening too often. So... kinda reminds me a bit of Castles in Tillian there, which is like random shit that's just not gonna happen for most people, and it's just like, well, that's a bummer. But yeah, I'm not about to like lower the amount of water necessary because it's kind of a shit reward. You get a crystal ball with clairaudience for 10 minutes, and then after that 10 minutes, 6 shadows come out to fuck your face. So, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, this is probably a room that I would want to just like rewrite or something, personally. This is not a room that interests me much as a DM because it's just like, what, I'm waiting to see them get fucked. And in general, that's sort of some of my like weakest feelings about the OSR and like dungeon modules and stuff is just how can we punish curiosity as much as possible, and you're meant to telegraph dangers, but they rarely provide easy ways for you to telegraph danger. Because that's just meant to be in the DM's hands, and they rarely outline it. Sometimes, I mean, as we've seen, there's some nice, easy options, like the door that's ajar or something like that. But here, what am I going to say to telegraph to the players to just, like, leave? And then even if I do telegraph something, and they're like, oh, I think we should get out of here, then great. What's the point? Like, it's just... no. Is that fun gameplay? People like that? And I'm not saying everything has to be spelled out or anything like that, and everything has, like, a benefit. But everything should be fun, and I just don't know if I see this as fun. Because I could, maybe I telegraph it enough, there's like, oh, you'd have to fill it up to, maybe you see a water line if you look really closely. It's like, oh, we got to fill it up to this level. And they do that, and then everything lights up. And it's like, okay, and now it functions as a crystal ball with clairaudience, which I don't even know what that means. You can spy on people or something like that. Yeah, it allows you to view any place or object that is brought to mind. And I guess you can also hear as well. And so for 10 minutes, they could view any place or object that is brought to mind. Very, very few players, I think, are going to be excited about that. And then it's like, okay, and then afterwards, the lights fade. But then the eyes of all the skulls glow, and 6 shadows come out. It's like, oh, great, awesome. It's just I don't like it, man. I don't like it. I'm against it. I would rewrite this. How would I rewrite it? I don't know. I'd go to ChatGPT. I could go to ChatGPT right now to rewrite this room. Let's see. I'm gonna give him like the basically I'm gonna give him the basically the same setup here. I'm gonna copy paste this text, and I'm gonna give it up to this point where there's the bowl and the empty jug and the 6 armored knights and all that. I'm gonna correct the word pool to bowl because I don't know why it says pool. And let's see what ChatGPT comes up with in all its infinite wisdom, drawing probably largely from 5th edition D&D over-the-topness. Okay, so here it telegraphs far more. The bowl has runes etched around its rim, written in an ancient dialect. Translating or examining them reveals a cryptic phrase. The faces of the dead thirst to see the truth. Pouring water into the bowl will activate the knights unless the water comes from a sacred or pure source. If the water is tainted, the skull emits a low moaning sound and the knights animate, stepping out of the walls to attack. If the skulls are removed, the corresponding knight animates and steps forward to guard the crypt. The underside of the pedestal is a hidden compartment that can be found with a successful perception roll or by inspecting its base. Inside lies a cracked crystal lens. Placing the lens over the bowl while water fills it reveals hidden writing or images on the bowl's surface, depicting a map or the name of a forgotten deity. If the correct water is poured into the bowl, the skull's runes glow faintly and the knights speak as one. You have honored the truth. What do you seek? The bowl then becomes a scrying device, showing a vision of a nearby treasure or hidden location in the dungeon. Alternatively, a name of great power is revealed tied to the dungeon story or an antagonist. Well, I'm not going to say it's all brilliant or anything like that, but I like this version a hell of a lot more than whatever this nonsense is. That's just like, touch this and get fucked. Here, it's just like, okay, there's like a puzzle that could be solved. There's some telegraphing there. You could fuck it up and have to fight the knights or something instead of just shadows. And then the actual reward for doing so and solving it properly shows like a nearby treasure or hidden location in the dungeon. And Lord knows there's like a billion of those that I could throw out there. So, yeah, I like that version a fuck ton more. So thank you, ChatGPT. You have solved the puzzle. What would I direct him to? Does the 16 have anything in it? It does. It has sledgehammer, 50-foot rope, quiver with 4 +1 arrows, and 2 potions of healing. There you go. So you could just show them like that wall specifically, and they could kind of deduce that there's a secret there, and then there you go. And that's their reward. Great. I mean, yeah. What's your reward if you solve this version? You get fucked by shadows. All right, then we're going to go through the other secret door here into Q2. Which is off of 20. Quiet Crypt 2, okay. We don't hear any sounds, I don't think, so we can just open it up. I'm going to roll on the underclock again. 4 more. No, 1 more, so it's at 9. All right, so not too bad. And I think our torch is going to go out at this point. I think that has served its purpose. So now we're going to... Yeah, we'll run the lantern. It's fine. And I should keep track of 10 rounds, and there probably is a very easy, like, round tracker module or something. I guess you could add a new resource. And just call it light. and we just find a light of some kind. Consumables? No? I would have thought maybe it's under, like, tools, but, it's definitely wasn't, unless it's under navigation, but it's not. Maybe we could just use, like, some magical image. But it's definitely not anything there. I don't know what else it would be under. Not an instrument. I don't know. It's weird that it's Kings. Oh, okay. Magic, lights. Yeah, I mean, just use this. It's fine. Okay. The initial value is 10. Okay, there you go. So now, when we roll undercock, we can also tick down light. All right, we're gonna open up this secret door to Q2. This crypt contains 4 pedestals, 2 each on the east and west walls. Black velvet funerary boxes stand atop each pedestal. The boxes are now moldy, dusty, and covered in cobwebs. Funerary boxes. Because everyone just knows exactly what those are, and if I just say that to my table, they'll know exactly what I mean. Okay, it's a funerary... Oh, okay. So it's like to hold ashes or something like that. They have these nice little wooden boxes. And if you search funerary boxes, you can see. I mean, yeah, I assume it's nowadays to hold ashes, I guess. That seems to be the case. It's like an urn, but if you don't like the urn, you want a box. So you get the box. Alright. I didn't know they had these in D&D times, but sure. So I think that's all you'd really say to players when they come in. Up to that point, you wouldn't say what's inside each one. It says inside are the remains of a skeleton and a single right-handed glove. I don't even know if I was allowed to open it from the other side, but I'm not quite sure. Yeah, okay, it's the only way by which the secret door may be opened. Okay, then never mind. We actually couldn't be in here. We did not find a secret... Well, I guess we did find a secret door there, but there's absolutely no way for it to open. So we'll just close out of that and pretend that didn't happen. Okay. And then I think if I showed the players this little nook, I feel like that would be pretty suspicious too. But is it suspicious enough for me to search? And would it necessitate an underclock roll to do so? Well, between searching and finding the door and then going into B probably is an underclock roll, I would say. How thorough do we want to be? I feel like looking it up, but I feel like that'll also influence my decision, and I don't remember what's in there. But yes, I think if you had the map like this... Well, you wouldn't have the map like this, but it certainly seems suspicious. Let me look at the other map, because I like to do that. Oh yeah, I mean, come on. If you saw just this, you were in this hallway here, and that was what you saw, I mean, you'd think that's damn suspicious, especially because you know this is a secret door here. I mean, come on. Alright, so we'll search. And then find it and go through to room B. And that's going to be an underclock roll. Technically, I rolled it when I didn't go into that room, but we'll roll it. It's another 1. Down to 8, down to 9. And room B. Tell me all about room B. Secret room holds a small bag of 45 silver in a niche on the western wall. This area also contains signs of passage that end at the wall to the north and then head toward 23B. 23B. Where the fuck is... Oh yeah, that's where the mongrel men were. So yes, we know all about that. So that's it. It was fucking 45 silver. I think I read the wrong C. This is the pile of rubble. Way over here by 23C. This C is an entirely different room, and now that other map makes way more sense. Because that room belonged to Hildress Forest Green, a priest of Green Man. Fucking Green Man. Okay. I mean, if you're gonna run this in 2025 or something, don't call it Green Man. Alright, change that, because the players, they're not gonna let that one go, alright? I'm just telling you. I mean, I know it's like a... I know. I mean, I know that it's like an actual folklore kind of figure. But it's also a humorous mascot from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. So I don't know. I wouldn't go with it. Come up with any other sort of nature deity and just throw it in there. Sylvanas. I mean, just call it fucking Sylvanas. Anyways. Okay, so that, so that was his remains resting atop a stone slab against the northern wall. The area is completely covered in cobwebs and dust. His priestly vestments were made of giant spider silk from the blackened forest and offer the same properties as a permanent resist cold. However, they do not detect as magical and will be destroyed if the crypt is lit aflame. Is that a common occurrence? Does that happen a lot? Where the whole room starts on fire and the players are just burning rooms and crypts? He also possessed a magical cudgel +1 that will survive non-magical fire. Well. Alright, so let's redo that room description here. You walk in and there's a crypt and the whole area is covered in cobwebs and dust. No one's been in here in a long, long time. And on top of this stone slab is a skeleton. Dried old skeleton. Wearing priestly robes. And clutched in his hands, I guess. I mean, would it actually be clutched in his hands? Or would it just be like resting next to him, I guess? That probably makes more sense. The resting next to the skeleton is a cudgel. I mean, how do you differentiate a cudgel from a club? Because a cudgel sounds a little bit better, but I think it's mechanically mostly the same. I mean, a cudgel, I guess, has like some metal bands on it, maybe. There might be... Yeah, I guess a cudgel might imply some form of metal attached to it in some fashion. But I think they might also be synonymous in a lot of ways. So the Wikipedia page is club, also known as cudgel, baton, bludgeon, truncheon, kosh, nightstick, or impact weapon. So that kind of all lumps it all together. I don't know if there's a big difference. Yeah, I mean, it says cudgel is a stout stick carried by peasants during the Middle Ages. So I feel like you're mostly looking at just a club here. But I also... Hold on. I just want to check one thing. I want to go to OSE, Wiki, SRD. They do have a club, which is a D4. They do not have a cudgel as a D6 weapon. So, what game had a cudgel? Let me look at Labyrinth Lord weapons. See if they have... Okay, they also don't have a cudgel. What the fuck game has a cudgel and it's a D6? I think read it really as mace. And like, if you just change that word to mace, I think we're all very clear on what it is. And it makes way more sense because he's a priest, he used a mace, it's fine. So just change it to a mace. It was a +1 mace. Hey! It's a +1 mace. That's pretty good. Who wants to have a +1 mace and would benefit from it? Not many characters, unless we want blunt weapons. And technically, in old school D&D, we're fighting a lot of undead. You would want to have a blunt weapon to deal proper damage to the undead. Shadowdark does not actually make that distinction. It throws that old school stuff away and makes no distinction about it. So that's how I've been running it. I think that's really up to your group, and obviously Shadowdark could support that sort of if you wanted to just change it. So, AD&D First Edition Monster Manual. Skeletons suffer only 1/2 damage from sharp and or edged weapons. Blunt weapons score normal damage. Fire scores normal damage. Second Edition AD&D repeats the same rule. Basic D&D, BX D&D never had this rule. Interesting. Wow. So that's why... Are you telling me OSE does not have a bludgeoning rule? So that's just not a thing in, like, the OSR generally? Yeah, just looking at the skeleton stat block on the OSE SRD does not mention it at all. Wow. So that's really an AD&D thing. I guess because it is kind of an advanced concept that meant to be sort of a more realistic simulation of what different weapons would do to, like, you know, a skeleton. Sort of. I mean, I still feel like a greatsword would do normal damage, to be honest. But I could agree with maybe like a spear and arrows and stuff. But yeah, okay, so BX D&D just ignores that entirely. Well, then I probably wouldn't put it into Shadowdark then, because it's not really broadly used, I guess. That almost certainly means that it's an axe, right? Like, absolutely, it's an axe. But, okay. Then we'll skip the... Alright, well then, so we don't really benefit from having a bludgeoning weapon, but what we do benefit from is the fact that it's a +1 weapon. And so I think Aran might take it, just because he needs a little bit more of an edge on hitting stuff than he's just got. So we're gonna make a... We're gonna make a +1 mace. Actually, I don't think we have to do that. I think we could just go to gear, weapon, mace, and edit magic item. And not weapon roll attack bonus. Weapon... Oh yeah, that is what it is. Or is it? Yes. Weapon attack. Yeah, okay. 1. Yes. Done. Good. Good. So that should now be +3, 1d6. Oh, but it's a +1, so it's also damage, right? I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Yep. Bonus to hit and damage in combat. So, yeah, that's good. That's good. We like that. Attack damage bonus. 1. +3, 1d6 +1 damage. Yeah, I mean, in general, you probably want to have 1d6 +1 over 1d8. Because the average of 1d8 is going to be 4.5. The average of 1d6 +1 is going to be 4.5. I guess it works out the same, but you can't get a 1 with this. You can only minimum 2. You can't get an 8 either, granted. But still, the average is the same, and we get +1 to hit, so yeah, it is a better choice for us. Alright, excellent. As for the priestly vestments, I think we probably don't desecrate his corpse any more than we did. Because resist cold is relatively minor. They don't even detect as magical, so I don't think most parties are going to just strip him of his clothes. No, I'm going to correct that. I probably would imagine most groups do strip him of his clothes. Interestingly, no penalty of any kind for desecrating his corpse. Alright, so anyways, we did get 45 silver off of this secret room. So I guess we'll add 45 silver there, and I will note it in our book. I could note the cudgel, or the mace, I'm sorry, but we're going to use it. And by again, OSC rules, it wouldn't be worth anything anyways. By axe rules, it would be worth something if we didn't use it. So either way, we're not going to count it. Okay, I probably prefer axe rules, as usual. But this is definitely getting used. If we carried out that robe and we thought it was a value, that would be something, but it doesn't even have a value listed. So I'd have to just make something up, and I really have no idea, and we'll just leave it there, so it's fine. Alright, moving on then. What's next? Oh, we're gonna go bashing, that's right, which is gonna be real fucking noisy. Real freaking noisy. We're definitely gonna have a random encounter. Still not quite sure what this X symbol is supposed to be. Their X is all over the place, really. I have no idea. Let's go to the other map. That might make it a little more obvious what it is. Nope. Doesn't mean anything. I'm inclined to think it's some sort of trap or something. We'd have to probably look at the general sort of discussion of the dungeon, and maybe that'll tell us something. Damn, I wish the rendering speed in here was faster. Look at how slow this is. Obviously, this is just like when Foxit just freezes. So instead of freezing it, we get the rendering image. I suppose there's no fixing that. Bricked up walls. Burial alcoves, dungeon reset, random partial collapses. Maybe it's a partial collapse. But it's any room either noted in the text or represented on the map that contains a partial collapse is likely to give way. While PCs are in these rooms, there's a 1 to 2 chance, 1 to 2 on D6 chance per turn of further collapse. I suppose it could be. There's really no other mention of what it is. And it's not even on the other map, but that's not a DM map. I don't know. For now, we'll ignore it. I'm going to try and find some better maps. If I can find a DM version of that other one, we'll definitely switch to that. But anyway, yeah, so we head back out. We go up to this bricked wall, and we're like, all right, we're going to find some real treasure right here. And we... Oh, fuck. I gotta look at the rules for breaking down the wall. Okay. Bricked up walls. Blah, 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 blah. They provide a quandary for players. Do they risk bashing the wall down and making noise? Will anything come out of the wall and attack them from behind if they pass it by? In terms of time, use the following as a guide to determine how long it takes to break down a wall and create an entrance of sufficient size. One character is 3 turns. And we only have 1 sledgehammer. If players consistently bypass bricked up walls, referees are encouraged to have a group of undead burst through the wall and attack them from behind in dramatic fashion. The next brick up wall they encounter may give them pause. Yes, I do like that. That is something I will keep in mind. But we're definitely smashing this one. So, 3 rolls. We are definitely getting fucked. Good and strong and hard. And the light will tick down. Okay, first turn of smashing. Okay, I roll. The underclock went down 14. Obviously, just instant encounter from something nearby that heard us smash. Light goes down to 8. Alright, let's roll them bones for our random encounter. 3. It's the fucking tomb robbers again, isn't it? It is. Okay, well then now we're going to just spring that on us. It's kind of a narrow passageway, but I think that's just too appropriate at this point. But I don't know if it's necessarily hostile, because they could just be like, what the fuck are you doing making this amount of racket? Are you out of your mind? But that's not really much of an encounter either, because it's like, well, we're not stopping. Why are you in here? I thought you were waiting up top. You know, it's like, you know. It could be a different group, a much smaller group that's like been in here for like 2 hours and are like, oh god, why are you making this racket? But then they're just going to run too. So, I don't know. The Tomb Robbers, it's a very... I like the idea of it, but I like having like one group that I rolled that I'm kind of keeping track of. So they're either coming in now to kill us, and I doubt they would, because they'd be more like those idiots. They're going to draw down a fucking werewolf on their asses or something. So, yeah, again, I just don't like the Tomb Robber roll at this point. Alright, 9. More sapphire skeletons. Again, let's get something different. 10. Fire beetles. Alright, D8 fire beetles scurrying out of the walls. Alright, only 3 of them. But now we have to deal with fire beetles. Do I have Shadowdark stats for fire beetles? Place your bets. Place your bets. Place your bets. Fire beetles. Kind of an obscure monster, but not that uncommon. And the answer is a resounding no. No Shadowdark stats for fire beetle. And I looked at F and B for beetle, so nothing. Okay, then we have to, unfortunately, go to... Well, I have to just search fucking fire beetle until I find stats. There they are. So, AC of 4 is pretty low. Or, yeah, so it's like an AC of 15. They have a hit dice of 1 + 2, which means they're averaging around 7 health. And they do 2d4 damage. Their glands continue to glow after they've been slain. Wise players can harvest them as a light source. So they don't spit fire or anything like that, like Ice Cube. They just are like giant ladybugs that have large mandibles and will bite your ass. So they're glowing, and they want our blood, I guess. I mean, you already know how this is going to go. We don't even really have to play this out. We're going to cast Prismatic Armor, we're going to terrify them away, and then we win the encounter and get some XP. That's what's going to happen, all right? So let's just roll initiative against our 3 fire beetles. It's almost unnecessary to even do Prismatic Armor. That means there's going to be no stealth after this, but... Alright, we get 11. They get a 6, or relatively around that area. And so we go first. Trepa uses Prismatic Armor again. Normal. Success. D6. No! It finally happened. Alright, we now attract fire beetles. We attract any sort of wild animal or monster that sees us of low intelligence. They're mesmerized and they just want it in their mouths. Okay, well that makes it a lot tougher. I'm not exactly sure how a player would be aware of such, you know, of that effect one way or the other, unless, you know, you would know. It would almost be one of those things that the DM should probably roll in secret, and then they have to kind of wait and see what happens when on the monster's turn. That's probably how I would do it, if I remembered. But alright, either way, Aran is going to rush in and swing his new mace. Critical failure. Great. And Hrogar will swing his longsword. That is a hit. Yep, that's a hit, barely, for 2 damage. Not very good. And I guess Yuri's just going to fire off the crossbow against the same target. And that's a miss. And that is our turn. So now the fire beetles are going to slip underneath our legs and stuff just to get to Trepa. And they're desperate to devour this person. So they're all going to roll an attack. And thankfully, we have a 15 AC with the Prismatic Armor. Kind of nice. Yeah, so creatures, enemies here used fucking attack matrices. They didn't, it wasn't just like a +2 or anything. But OSE has the numbers for ascending AAC, so not using Thaco. So their bonus is +1 on a fire beetle. And they actually have an average of 6 HP, 15 AC, 2d4 damage. When in doubt, just look up the OSE numbers. They will be handy to you if you are using ascending AC, like a normal modern gamer. Alright, so 3 of them are attacking. They all get +1 on the roll. They need a 14 or higher. 3d20. They definitely did not get it. It's pretty shitty. Yeah, so they all miss. She kind of... They're distracted by the colorful lights, and she's nimbly dodging out of the way of their mandibles. New round. Advantage, dex, crit. Hey, crit is a crit, no matter what kind of roll it is, right? So we will give Arana a luck token. Now I'm going to give it to Hrogar, because he earned it. Alright, it doesn't really matter what they roll. We go first. So one of them took 2 damage. That's it. Aran's going to swing at that same one. That is a kill. Easy. Rogar is going to swing at another one. 5 damage, so it has 1 health left, which means Trepa will use Magic Missile on it. It is dead. Sure. And then Yuri will fire off a crossbow bolt at the third one. 6 damage. That's a kill. Holy shit. Nice job. Excellent stuff. Awesome. So that was 45 XP for those 3 fire beetles. You know what I'm just going to do after all this is done, after we leave? I'm just going to give all this info to ChatGPT and just tell it to add it up for me. It's a lot easier. If you just tell it that, like, you know, actually, let me put XP numbers here. That'll make it easier for it. I don't have to explain what the creature numbers mean. And then you just explain 1 gold is worth 1 XP, and then 10 silver is worth 1 XP. And, you know, don't, I guess, like, round down or something like that. And then, yeah, well, I want to see how it does after all this. I want to see how it does actually right now. So we might get a full, complete number of our current XP total. Let's see here. Let's see, each gold piece is worth 1 XP. Okay. Let's see. Do the number crunching, Jarvis. Act as my brain so that I don't have to use it. And you will tell me exactly what I need to know. It's analyzing. It crunched the numbers. It's still crunching a little bit. It seems to be lagging. This is a lot of math. This is new math for the AI. It doesn't really know. Okay, here we go. XP from loot, 766.2. Okay, I mean, yeah, that's all right. And then XP from monsters, 655. Total XP, 1,421. That seems right. Because divided by 4, that's like 455. I think that's what pretty much we were looking at. So I think it did it right. And it actually shows you the math. So the monster XP was very simple. It just adds up all those numbers. And then the gold piece values, very simple. Adds all those up. And then the silver is, yeah, 10 is worth 1. So basically each silver is 0.1 XP. Technically. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty basic math. I mean, I could have done it. We kind of did already. But there you go. So I can give it just like a massive list of numbers, and it can just crunch that for me, and problem solved. This isn't mind-blowing. I'm pretty sure we were all confident ChatGPT could handle his basic math problem. But there you go. Okay, so I'm going to tell it to divide the total by 4 because I am big dumb brain and I don't want to even load the calculator app. I use very expensive and wasteful AI processing to do my math for me. Hack the planet. Each party member receives 355 XP. 0.3, but yes, 355. There you go. So if we leave the dungeon right now, go back to town, we would be We'd be like 1/6 of the way to level 2. That's crazy to think. Because okay, hold on. Let's just pretend that instead of running Barrowmaze and going straight into Barrowmaze, I instead loaded up the Barrow of the Bone Blaggart or whatever it was. So let me try and find that. I don't even remember which one that was in. I think that was in Anthology 2 for OSE, I believe. Yes, Barrow of the Bone Blaggarts. Okay, so just you know, humor me, all right? We're wasting a lot of time, but this is what I like to do. All right, so I'll just pretend that we went into this dungeon instead, and this is like our level 1 dungeon. I think we would be done with this dungeon by now. Almost certainly. Right. It's really not that big of a dungeon. This is the map here. It's got 22 rooms total. We've basically been in 22 rooms. So I think we would be done at this point for sure. And let's just kind of count up treasure and what we might find for treasure. Just stuff that has like a numerical value listed. As there is like a bronze sword +1 you can get, which is pretty good, but you have to get it clean first. Blah, 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 blah. Nothing there. If we ignore monster XP entirely and just say treasure. Alright, so behind one of the niches covered in a yellow mold, there's 50 gold and a golden serpent buckle worth 200 gold pieces. So that's 250 right there. Okay. Then this one, the Burning Shrine, it's a bit of a puzzle. You kind of have to go to another room to get the eyes and then come back to put it in there, and then you can take it. But those, you get 3 gemstones, each worth 200 gold. So we're already at 850 gold of value. Bada bing, bada boom. Then there's high-end tobacco worth 250 gold. So that's ChatGPT, no, 1100 gold of treasure. Then you find 6 terrified merchants, and if you manage to bring them back to civilization, they pay you 1200 gold pieces. I don't know if that counts towards XP. I'm not quite sure, actually, because I've never used this kind of system. I have no idea, actually. Usually it's not like the intent of something, like usually this doesn't happen, but I don't know. I guess you would get XP, right? Shadowdark would certainly award you XP, so I think we have to count it. So we were at 1100, so assuming you did this, that would put you at 2300. There's a mossy cave here, where the fairy is, that's the fairy's home, and hidden there is 500 gold. So, that would be 2800 gold. In the crawler lair, 250 gold, so you're looking at 3050 now. 4 silver cups worth 50 gold each, so 3250. The garbage has 4 bronze bowls, 100 gold pieces each. What did I just say? We're at 3250, so that's 3650. And then the big treasure hoard in the central crypt. So you're at 3650. You get an extra 500. So you're at 4150. Plus an extra 100. 4250. My numbers might be getting wrong. 4 crates of dyed silks, 100 gold pieces each. So that's 4650. Blah, blah, blah. 4750. 4850. 5150 gold, 5150 XP. If you get the necromancer out as well, alive, and keep the whole thing secret, you get 1,000 gold for that in the form of a ruby amulet. So that's 6150. Keep in mind, you're never going to get all of this, but this is the theoretical max. Okay, 6150. 6,150 gold if you did everything. Which, to be fair, if you don't count monster kills of any kind, is not enough to level our 4 characters up to level 2. So, think about that. To level up our 4 characters just based on gold is 8,000 gold. Massive amount. So, yeah, if you counted defeated enemies, you know, it's not really going to be that much. A lot of this is really basic, low-level enemies. The only thing you might get is if you kill the necromancer here, all the undead get banished, and you'd probably get XP for every last one. But that's not really that many. It's 6 zombies here, so that's 120 from them. You get 13 for the necromancer because he's kind of a little basic bitch. And then the skeletons, I think, are all worth 15, 10, 10. Yeah, so that's 40, 70 plus 10, 170 XP from that. If you kill the undead treant, I guess that would also die, because that's how I ruled it when I ran this solo. I ruled that the necromancer, he was responsible for reanimating this treant. That's 650 there, because he's hit 8 hit dice. I don't know if it's fair to award that XP, but you did defeat that encounter, right? It's no longer a threat to you. So, I mean, it seems fair. So that's 650 XP just from that. 75 for the carcass crawler. 50 for the giant spider. So, yeah, I think maybe, yeah, if you got every piece of treasure and killed every last thing in here, mostly by killing the necromancer and taking his ruby amulet worth 1,000 gold, you might just barely level up to 2, assuming you also rescue the merchant. So there, I mean, I guess there's your comparison, because this would be about as much as we've done. Theoretically possible to get to level 2, but not likely. But definitely more dense XP than what we've gotten at, for sure. Yeah, so Barrowmaze, you're definitely in for a longer haul. You're not going to be racing through levels. But I think that's okay. Again, this is like your entire campaign. Barrowmaze is the campaign if you're going to be running it like as your campaign. Like, for sure, it will take you a very long time. You're not going to be racing through levels or anything like that. And, you know, playing with Shadowdark, which caps out, I think, at level 10. I believe it's 10. Yeah. And by using the fighter progression, it's going to take you a long time to get to level 10 in the Barrowmaze campaign. So, strap in. Alright, anyways, we just wanted to look at that. So, where were we? What were we doing? Right, we dealt with the fire beetles, we got that. So now our second turn of bashing at the wall. D6, another 6, so now it's down to 12 again already. 7. This is, I mean, you're paying for this. So I think a lot hinges on how valuable this section is. If this is not worth the effort and the trouble, I don't know how many more bricked walls we're going to be bashing down. Unless we get more sledgehammers. Alright, it's down to 8, 6, and we bash open room 21 here, this hallway, which I think just contains these doors. Alright, there's some random graffiti, and I looked at that table. It's all like very, like, shit you'd see painted in blood on a wall in like a survival horror game, like, we couldn't hold out, or he's going to get you, you know, it's like stuff like that, so whatever. Alright, so 3 crypts. We'll count 21 and going into this first room, you know, as one roll here. 2 more, we're at 6, 5. And we listen at the door first, of course. Door is locked, the room is empty. A faint runic script written in charcoal decorates this room wall to wall. It is undecipherable. A single skeleton wears 2 electrum bracelets, 52 gold pieces each. Well, we want that. But the door is locked, so we don't hear anything, and we go for the handle, and we find that it is locked, and we finally run up against a locked door, and we don't have a thief. So we can bash the door, but that is going to be another roll on top of what we already just did. But it's either that, or we accept that we're not getting into this crypt, and I don't think that's acceptable. So I think we're bashing, baby. Depending on your system and everything, this could be a roll. In Axe, I think if Iran wanted to do it, it would probably be like a roll of 10 or higher. But most New Age kind of stuff says unless it's a really tricky door or something, you just kind of do it. If it's like a stuck door or something. If it was a stuck door, I probably would have to make it a roll. But this is just a locked door, which doesn't hold much threat. So we'll bash through it. The consequence is really just the underclock going down to 5. The light will not go down from that. That's not time passing. All right, so we get in there, and yeah, we see that undecipherable runic script written across the walls. But we find 2 electrum bracelets. I will take those electrum bracelets. 52. I'll just add it up. I think that's how I've been doing it. Actually, I hope that I've been doing that as the total of each thing. Yes, okay. Yeah, just do the total. I hope that didn't confuse ChatGPT when I say 2 broken sapphires, 200 gold pieces. That is not to say that they're worth each, but I don't think it did it that way. No, it did not do it that way. Okay, so it did it correctly. Good. Good chatbot. Alright, next room. We listen at door number 2. The door to this crypt is locked. Great. We love that. A group of skeletons will rise from stone slabs and attack intruders. Frescoes too faded to discern. And then there's grave goods in there. We want all that shit. And it's another locked door, so I guess we're bashing. So this is where it's going to get really messy for us. This is like TPK kind of stuff. Because I'm going to have to roll the underclock twice. And a smarter group would probably hold off. And would bunker down in like that other room where we just got the bracelet. Knowing that an encounter is imminent. But we might have to hunker down like twice, because I don't think I'd fudge the roll that much. So it might be twice, and that's ticking down your light more. But honestly, light, not a big threat, because I haven't been attacking it. And I never will. Alright, we'll be smart. We'll bunker down in the first room that we just opened. And we're not going to spike the door. We don't want to make no more noise than we already are. Even though at this point it's like, what hasn't hurt us? Big fucking oafs. Alright, so we're going to bunker down, just wait it out. It goes down by 2. This goes down by 1. Another 1. Now it's in the negative. Oh, we actually would have gotten an omen. But honestly, I don't think it matters. Let's just do it. Just bring it on. D12. A 9 again. That's the fucking Sapphire Skeletons, dude. I mean, it's kind of good. It's the most lucrative random encounter I could possibly have, right? Each one of those I kill is worth 100 gold. That's pretty nuts. And they can be turned. I guess probably it's a lot easier if I got giant rats or fire beetles or something. But I'm pretty sure prismatic armor is still going on. Almost certainly. Absolutely it is. And any of that is going to be attracted to Trepa, so we probably don't want to do that. Alright, fuck it, we're doing Sapphire Skeletons. 4 of them. They come clinking and clanking around the corners, and yeah, they're going to come up to the doorway where Aran is waiting. He's ready and waiting with his mace. I wish I didn't have to look up stats for them every time, but I think they're pretty simple. 17 AC on the Sapphire, 5 health. And they attack for 1d6 with like a +1 or something. Or maybe not even a +1. I think they get a +1. We'll say +1. Initiative. Advantage. 16 versus their 13. We go first. Does Yuri want to turn undead? I don't think so. I think we want to kill these. We don't want them to run away. This is money, so we're not going to turn undead. She's just going to shoot one in the face, in the Sapphire. Right in the Sapphire. Miss. Trepa will use Magic Missile on one Sapphire. Fail? No luck. Luck means no fail. Also, I don't think I rolled with advantage that time, so I probably shouldn't have even wasted it. Let's rewind. Rewind. You were supposed to roll... So just roll Magic Missile normal for the second roll there. Okay, so... We didn't use luck. We succeeded. And we do 1d4 damage to a Sapphire. 3. Okay. Aran's gonna strike at 1, whichever one is in melee. Which probably is the one that Trepa just hit, so we'll go with that. Miss! And then he's gonna hold the line, and Hrogar will have to wait. Hrogar could really benefit from a ranged weapon. That's definitely something we're gonna buy in town. If he just had like a short bow or something that he could just plink off. He's got a +1. I know he's heavily stacked towards melee. Between mighty and his +1 to melee attacks, but still, a short bow has uses. Alright, that's it. So, one of them is going to attack Aran. D20 +1. That is a hit for sure. D6 damage. 6. Oh my god! Ah! Biting into his neck. He's going to bleed out soon. Alright, initiative. 15. 13. Ooh, pretty close, man. We haven't killed any. And we said there's 4 of them. Yeah, okay. Trepa's gonna Magic Missile the one that's already damaged. She just needs 2 damage on this. Crit. 2d4. It's already exploded. No problem. So that's 1 down. Yuri is gonna heal Aran with Cure Wounds. Success. Excellent. Or 6. Oh, he's back in full. He's ready to go. Cocklock ready to rock. He's going to swing his mace at the next one in line. Which technically they haven't moved up yet. So technically he'd have to move his position. But he is going to move anyways to allow Hrogar to get in there. He misses. He moves out of the way. Hrogar comes swinging in with the longsword at the next one. Kill. Dead. Dead as shit. Excellent. 2 left. They are both going to be swinging at Rogar, though, so this is where it gets much more dangerous. Oh, he would have had his shield back on. Fudge. Fudge. Although it's not an action to pull it out, right? So don't judge me. All right, first one hits, second one misses with a +1. D6 is 2, he's down to 3. He'll want to heal now. New round, new initiative, advantage, crit. Hey! Everybody has one except for Iran, so he gets it. We are loaded up on luck. This game's too easy for me now. Alright, so it doesn't matter what they roll, we're going first. And technically, I guess they could also crit, but they didn't. Alright, so now Krogar's going to swing before he backs out. He misses, he backs out. Yuri's going to heal him with Cure Wounds. Success for 2. It's alright. Trepa is going to Magic Missile 1. Or I could Daze 1, I guess, but no, we like Magic Missile. Success for just 1 little damage, and Iran will move in and try and strike that same one. Follow up Bash. So close, it's got 1 left. They get to go, they'll both swing at Iran. D20, D20, that's a hit. For D6 damage, 3, he's down to 4. Okay, new round. Keep it quick, keep it moving. Easy, easy. Oh no, they went first! Oh shit, against Iran. Same deal. D20, D20. Another hit, D6. Only 1, thank God. Ooh, very spicy. Alright, then we get to go Iran. No, Trepa's gonna deal... She only needs 1 damage here. Done. Alright, she shatters another one. Very handy spell. The spell casting, yeah, is one of the biggest differences between Shadowdark and actual old school D&D. I mean, think about how many times we've cast Magic Missile today. In actual old school D&D, we would have cast it once, and that would have been fucking it. So, yeah, it makes spellcasters way more powerful and way more playable at low levels. So, depending on how you feel about that, Shadowdark may or may not be the system for you. But for someone that actually likes to play wizards and at level 1, yeah, I think it's a big upgrade. Alright, so we have 1 left. Iran's gonna swing with his mace. Miss, he'll move back. Brogar will move up. Miss, unfortunately. He could use luck and we could end this. Alright, fuck it. The game's easy enough as it is. He'll reroll. Doesn't end it, but he does hit it for 3. And then Yuri will heal Iran with Cure Wounds again. Fail. Also going to use luck. Success. Perfect. Just for 2. He's back to 5. New round. Advantage. Fucking 5. And they got us 6 or 7 or something. Alright, that's going to be a swing against Rogar. That's a hit for D6. Ooh, man, we're getting lucky with these low damage rolls. Alright, then Trepa will just shoot 1 more time. Success for D4. Done. Hoo-hoo, boy. Fast and furious combat. That's what we like here. So that is, another 4 Sapphire Skeletons. Worth 80 XP, and another 4 broken sapphires. 400 gold. It's another 100 XP for everybody. 120. So, what were we at? 355 each. So everyone just gained another 150. So everyone's at 500 XP. We're 1/4 of the way to level 2. Huzzah! Jesus. All right. Yeah, I gotta end the video pretty soon here, but I'd like to finish this section. So The annoying part is we're gonna bash in here and have to fight more skeletons. But them's the breaks, man. I think we probably want to heal as much as we can. So we're gonna cast heal on Hrogar. That is another success for 3. That brings him up to 6. Honestly, I think we should give Aran's luck to Yuri, which, as far as I know, is 100% within the rules. It says so. And I think in general, yeah, you want to give your luck tokens to spellcasters. And I think I have heard of some DMs just Xing out that rule because it just meant your spellcasters were even more powerful because they always had luck tokens. But yeah, I think by default, luck tokens are not coming as fast and furious as it is here, where we just get it on every crit. What are the default rules for luck tokens? I don't even know. We've been playing solo for so long. It's impossible to know. Oh, I'm sure the rules are in here somewhere, right? Here it is. Sometimes the GM awards a luck token to a player for exceptional role-playing heroism or just plain coolness. That's it. It's entirely up to the GM just to whenever they feel like handing out luck tokens. If you're playing just with the core standard rules. We're playing solo dark, so that's on 20 because there is no GM to hand it out when I feel cool. So, you know, it's a very mechanical thing, and, you know, it probably works out relatively well. But then you could do pulp mode, where players start every session with 1d4 luck tokens, and then it's just ridiculous, you know? And you can use them to turn a hit into a crit, or take an extra action. I mean, that's pulp mode, baby. So yeah, I think it's okay. Anyways, so then we want to cure wounds again on Aran. We really want him in fighting shape, because he takes the brunt of attacks. Another success. For 2, he's back to full. Perfect. All right. Then we're going to bash in this room. So we're going to make 2 underclock rolls now. 3, so it's down to 13. And light will tick down again as we burst in here. And that will trigger the skeleton fight. 21 here. Group of 7 skeletons. So these are basic skeletons, 1 hit die, so they average 3 health. Pretty much 3 or 4, depending on how you feel that day. Technically, it would be... Well, again, you can always just go to fucking OSE. 4. Yeah, that's what I thought it would be. Okay, so 12 AC, 4 HP. And they have 0 bonus on their attack. They normally appear in groups of 3d4. So I suppose that is fair. There's 7 of them here. They will rise from stone slabs and attack intruders. So I think, you know, you describe it as, okay, you burst in, and as soon as you do, you start to see 7 skeletons rising from stone slabs around the room. I think we'd have a brief moment to maybe do something before I initiate combat. Or you could not go with that, and you could just say combat initiates. Either way, but I think there's a moment where they have to get up off the slabs. So, we're gonna back out and do doorway strats, our favorite strategy of all time. Yeah, I think when we ran Weird Wizard and we were doing a dungeon, I don't remember. Oh, that was Castles in Tillin. Yeah, and we were doing doorway strats. I think it worked out a little better mechanically because they could squeeze, so they could have 2 of them in the doorway and with a penalty. And then we could also do like grabs and stuff. Or they could try to grab. And that would really fuck up the doorway strat. Here, I don't know. I feel like as a DM, I should be countering this a little bit more with them trying to like squeeze through and get past, you know, the guy in the doorway or something. But they're mindless undead. It doesn't really make that much sense for them to do anything special. But I don't know. I wonder how other DMs would handle this. Oh, here you go. Is there a way to prevent fights from stacking into doorways? The funneling effect, I understand, is more tactically advantageous in ways, but the classic dungeon design room to room, one door after the other, can get old when the party continually stacks in the doorways. I'm not looking for workarounds like the monsters are smart, they won't come to the players, they'll just stay back and shoot them, or the monsters will sneak around behind them. I think my issue is with dungeon design itself. Top response is, I know you asked not to be given monster tactics, but I really believe it's as simple as that. PCs crowded into doorways are great targets for arrows and flaming liquids. Grabbing a PC and hauling ass in retreat, doubling around behind, all sorts of actions can negate the doorway tactic. This mostly happens in linear dungeons without time pressure. It's harder to pull off if there are multiple exits to the room, trap doors, wandering monsters showing up behind them, or there are environmental dangers. Verticality is another option. Okay, what happens when the skeletons ignore the front ranks and just clamber over the shield wall to kill the torchbearers that suddenly you're in the dark and the skeletons are all among you? Again, I mean, I'm interesting he specifically mentioned skeletons, because I feel like that's giving a lot of credit to skeletons to think like, oh yes, we should climb over this shield guy in front of us that's swinging his sword at us to get to that person in the back shooting magic ray dust at us. I think a large problem specifically we have with Barrowmaze is that there are practically no intelligent enemies. They're giant rats, fire beetles, and skeletons and zombies, by and large. As soon as I had any sort of combatant that was intelligent, it would fuck over all this shit. But any sort of complicated tactic of any kind just seems... I don't know. I mean, I guess other people have different opinions of monster intelligence. Like, even, like, animals, I guess, are not that... well... yeah, we haven't really done doorway strats for animals, I guess. We haven't really done it for that. Because usually we just use prismatic armor. So we haven't had to force that issue. It's mostly been just skeletons. And I guess that's the big question, is how smart is a skeleton? How smart is a skeleton to do any sort of advanced strategy of any kind? Yeah, it doesn't sound like most people give skeletons a whole lot of intelligence, generally. Like, they can follow directions and commands from, like, a necromancer, like, really basic ones, but acting independently on their own here and, like, coming up with a tactic of climbing over the shield wall to get to a caster, that seems way too much for a fucking skeleton. That's my thought on the matter. So, yeah, whatever. Okay, doorway strats it is, and then combat starts. We get a 10, they got a 6, we go first. Fuck it, we're almost done for the day here. Yuri's gonna bust out Turn Undead at a -8. So this is technically a -3 on this roll. Success at a 14 nonetheless. Her rolls have been ridiculous for turn undead. All right, so all these are going to have to roll. I think they're rolling at a -2. If we just go with regular skeleton stats from the Shadowdark book. I think that's what we were looking at. -1, actually. Although that does put them at level 2. And zombies were a -3, so maybe... Yeah, these skeleton stats are more like the sapphire ones or something. So let's just go -2 on their charisma. So 70, 20, -2. They have to get 14 or higher. Well, 3 of them crit, so that's pretty astronomical. Which means that 4 of the 7 succeeded. So 3 of them are just going to cower in fear in the back of the room. In the back corner, they're going to push against each other in absolute terror. But 4 of them are still soldiering on. So, but still, pretty good. And we didn't even lose the spell, so I can't complain too much. Trepa is going to magic missile one of them in the back there, you know, of the 4. And I think we said they have 4 HP. So we will roll with that. Failure! No, that's what luck is for. But we don't get to roll with advantage. We get to reroll one of the dice. Okay, thank goodness. D4, 2 damage to one of them. And then Aran will swing a mace. Yeah, I specifically said one of the back 4. Or one of the 4 that in the back. So he'll strike at one in the front next to him. 3 damage. Not a kill either, unfortunately. Wish it were, but it's not. But doorway strats work out because it's their turn, and one of them, the one that he just hit, will swing back. D20. Miss. And that's it. Again, it just feels a little wrong as a DM, but I don't know. I know I can ask this, but I don't think anyone will comment. But if you have any thoughts on the matter, I always like to hear. I mean, really, I think specifically we're just talking about the intellect of a skeleton, and I think generally people would say they're not very intelligent. All right, we get to go again. Aran will just strike the one right in front of him. Missing. Trepa will strike the one that she hit before. So she needs to do 2 damage on this hit. Success. Kill. Okay, we're down to 3. Yuri will fire a crossbow bolt at the one that Aran did 3 damage to, so it has 1 health left, so she'll try and hit that one. She did, and she killed it. Excellent. So that's 2 left, and that's the round. So then now one of them will try and hit Aran. That is a connected hit for 5 damage. Oh, God. Hopefully we win initiative again. 16 is good. Excellent. All right, Yuri is going to heal right away. Very important. Failure! Failure! Luck! Oh, God. Success. Okay, thank God. You're so ridiculous. So cheesy. All right. Aran will swing at the one that just hit him because he doesn't like that. Hit for 5 damage. That's a kill. Trepa will magic missile the last of the non-terrified. Success for 4. It's dead. And then Rogar will charge in there and just start cleaving at the other 3 that are terrified. And that's the encounter, pretty much. Awesome. So that's another 7 skeletons. These are hit dice 1s. So those are worth 10 each. So 70. And then treasure-wise, is there anything good in here? 2 platinum necklaces, 174 gold pieces each, and bags with 400 silver and 20 gold pieces. Potion of Clairvoyance and a Runic Tablet. Hot diggity dog. Great. This is a lot of shit to carry, though. I don't know how much room I have left. We are stacked out. Fuck. We'd have to specifically leave stuff behind, and I guess I could. This oil flask is almost out, so I think we can dump that, and we can dump the crude shield. But I think we're ready to leave and go back to town. Technically, this oil flask wouldn't be weighing me down anymore. If we're going to be really pedantic about it, if it's almost used up, it no longer weighs me down, right? And also, technically... Yeah, I mean, technically, that's how it would work. So... Yeah, we'll count it as that. So, oh, fuck. I also have to carry the broken sapphires. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Yeah. Oh, man. There were 4 more. And the Electrum... I can't just add shit to this list. I have to actually carry it. Yes. That is a big problem, because I do not have room for any of this shit. I think we have to just leave some stuff here. Because, if I want to actually carry this all out. So, like, my 2 torches and stuff. Like the extra grappling hook and rope and stuff. Like, we could leave a lot of this stuff. Okay, let's just take the backpack from this crawling kit and the ration from this crawling kit, and then dump the crawling kit on the ground here. I mean, you know, we could come back for it maybe, but yeah, just leave. Okay, so that leaves Iran with a lot. So he'll take the broken sapphires. So he'll take... Well, no, okay, so he'll just take the 4 that I should have picked up. Okay, and then he can also take the Electrum bracelets, of which we click treasure, Electrum bracelet, and that's worth 52 each. Okay, and we will add 2 of those. Okay, so that cleaned up that, and then we also have... That was everything in the backlog. But now we have the 2 platinum necklaces. Platinum necklace. 174. We're loaded with fucking treasure here, man. So he's full, and then she's gonna ditch the crude shield and take the other platinum necklace. That still leaves money, and we definitely can't carry that silver. There's no way, but we might be able to carry 20 more gold. You can carry 20 gold, I think. Okay. So let me write down the 20 gold. Let's see, 2 platinum necklaces, and that's times 2. Oh god, math, man. 348. And 20 gold pieces. Then there's also a potion of clairvoyance. I assume that takes up a slot, and I don't really have a slot unless I dump something else. Which I guess I could. We could dump something, but I don't know if I feel comfortable dumping anything else. My javelin, I guess. My spare javelin. It's not worth that much. Alright. And now we got a potion of clairvoyance, which I'm going to have to create as an item. This was a big haul. Potion. Potion of clairvoyance. I have no idea what it does. We might just sell it because we can. Enables the character to see through the eyes of another creature within 60 feet. Boy, that is really fucking useless. People are valuing these potions quite a bit. 500 gold piece per spell level if it mimics a spell effect. And I'm pretty sure clairvoyance is a level 1 effect. Actually, I have no idea. The fuck? It's a 3rd level spell? You're telling me this shitty ass potion is worth 1,500 gold pieces? Are you out of your mind? What? Yeah, other people say that that number is kind of outrageous. There's no price listed for a potion of healing in OSE or BXD&D. So that's what these people are like trying to calculate is how much it would cost. So if you found one and you wanted to sell it or something like that, or if you wanted to make it as an alchemist and sell them. So again, potion of healing is like, who wouldn't want that? It seems insane. So they went with 300 gold. This blog went with 300 gold pieces per potion of healing because it's mimicking a level 1 spell effect. So then we could make it a more reasonable 900 gold, but it still seems insane. And I think, again, the issue might be with actually selling this. Because who are you going to sell this to? I have no idea. I don't know what to rank it at. This is a bit more of a pickle. AD&D has much clearer rules for sale prices for magic items. And their healing potions sell for 400 gold. That's if a player sells it. So in that case, you know, ours might be 1,200 gold. I don't know. I guess 1,000 gold if you can sell it. If we can figure out and the DM allows it. I guess let's put it around 1,000. It's like kind of the happy medium everyone's saying. It does duplicate a 3rd level magic user spell. So seems kind of insane. I'm gonna put it in our log. Potion of clairvoyance. 1,000 gold piece, question mark. I mean, because if it's true, that's another 250 XP just from picking up that, which I think is kind of ridiculous. I don't know if that's the intent here, and yeah, I don't think you're meant to get XP for selling this shit. So, yeah, I don't know. All right, yeah, the 3rd crypt also has a bunch of giant rats in it and stuff, so, we'll save that. I gotta get going, but pretty good. I mean, we've explored decent amount of Area 1 here. Maybe half. No, we're definitely not halfway through Area 1. Area 1's way too long. The whole dungeon's way too long. It's a massive endeavor. I don't remember how long Area 1 is. But pretty long. Yeah, so far so good. I think next time though we are going to be leaving the dungeon. We're full to the brim, and we're going to have to deal with those Tomb Raiders when we get back up, and I don't know what's going to happen with that. Yeah, 88 rooms for Area 1. So we are definitely not halfway. All right, my name is Mang. This has been Solo Roll Manging, Shadowdark, Barrowmaze. I'll see you fine folks in the next part.